Scale is something we talk about a lot as train enthusiasts, but we're usually talking about models. Scale applies in a quite different context here at the Illinois Railway Museum, the largest railway museum in the United States. You hear the numbers, and they certainly sound big. More than 80 acres of grounds, 11 barns only dedicated for storage, with 3¼ miles of track under cover, and over 500 pieces of rail equipment, just to name a few. But it's hard to truly appreciate the scale and scope of this museum unless you go visit. What's up, guys? This is Heiss, and last month I visited the Illinois Railway Museum for the first time, attending their annual Showcase Weekend held in mid-September. Showcase Weekend is a fantastic time to visit. His trains run for extended durations, there's more trains than usual all at once, and tons, and I mean tons of different equipment is shown off across the whole weekend, alongside fun special events like Breakfast Made on the Nebraska Zephyr. That said, one weekend was far from enough. We were there all day Saturday and a good chunk of Sunday and saw maybe a third or so of the museum. You could spend days pouring through the exhibits and not see it all. Look at all these big choo-choos. Grand trunk. And the exhibits don't leave you wanting either. Unsurprisingly, given that there's 500 plus pieces of equipment, there's a mixture of beautifully restored, original patina, and things that are in line, but everything is quite well curated with details that are good for the public as well as the nerds. Alright, okay, so Smokebox, Andrew Brandon!
It's legit.
Oh my god, it's planished iron! Ooh! Perhaps the thing that stands out the most in the overall experience is that a ridiculous chunk of things are kept indoors and out of the elements, which gives me extreme jealousy on one hand. I'm very pleased to see this for a museum at the same time. It makes for a great experience year-round, wandering through barns and seeing all the treasures within, whether it be original planished iron jackets on a neat 440, a GG1, or any other number of gorgeous locomotives in Barn 9, or the beautiful cars and traction in some of the other barns. Look, a barn. Oh god, there's another barn. And another barn. And another barn. How many barns are there?
15.
Oh, okay. The chances of being murdered by a locomotive that doesn't run are never zero. Keystone, Keystone. The collection of electric traction at IRM is spectacular. There's so many different trolleys, streetcars, and interurbans, and it makes sense why. The IRM got its start as the Illinois Electric Railway Museum in 1953, and that was their original focus. Hence, there's a fun loop of track you can tour via a good chunk of the museum on trolleys, and plenty of interurban action on the main, at a surprisingly high speed for a museum at 40 miles an hour. Mile an hour is quick in terms of heritage rail anything for most places around the US, especially at a museum. The IRM owns and operates 4.6 miles of track, all single track other than sidings, of which there are several. The station for passengers to board at is at East Union, and there are passing sidings on either side, with stub end sidings beyond them. These sidings, plus 3 tracks and the Y at East Union, are what makes Showcase possible. Running 6 trains at once means there needs to be lots of places to put them. Clever application of spring switches, as much as I hate them personally, plus an entire centralized traffic control or CTC system means that a lot of movement can happen quickly, efficiently, and safely. No, but it's wrong. It's fine. It's wrong.
It's not.
You don't have to do anything. It's great.
Dispatcher Shay 5.
Shay 5.
Shay 5 is now authorized past Signal 91 to Jefferson Street and station track to be determined.
Shay 5 has opposition past Signal 91 to Jefferson Street and then into station track 2 TW.
No, station track TBD to be determined.
Shay 5 has authorization past Signal 91 to Jefferson Street into station to be determined.
That is correct. Dispatcher out. talk over that damn whistle.
What?
Huh?
I'm in artillery. Play anything as long as it's loud.
Okay, but why instead of black and then a line and white above?
That was perhaps one of the coolest things about the whole setup. There was always action. It reminded me a lot of Barry Bogue's excellent G-scale indoor layout. Everywhere you look, something going on, but this time it's full-sized. The CTC wasn't the only cool thing signal-wise. The wigwags, various signals and semaphores, and the excellent standalone signal display were beautiful and made my inner signal nerd happy.
What is the aspect? I don't know.
Pick a signal. Pick a color mark.
Let's make a position light go to stop. Why not? Give me reference for the blinky.
Gonna go to here.
Clear? Now set the one next to it to approach, or yellow. Yeah. That's neat. Leighton Moreland.
Perhaps the oddest thing about the IRM is that the star of the show isn't the steam engine. It's everything else. That said, J. Neal's Lumber number 5, a fantastic C-Class Shay, was a wonderful thing to see running and to run. Well, mostly. The folks at the IRM were extremely kind and let myself and Virtual Railroader Academy host Casey run and fire the Shay. It was really cool and truly wonderful to get to share the footplate in person with someone who I've spent dozens of hours operating together in the digital space. And I can't thank the crew on the Shay, Joey and Chris, enough for the experience. That Shay fired like an absolute dream. It has an operating superheater damper, which basically closes off the superheater flues when the engine isn't working, acting like an automatic damper control. If you kept an even coal bed, the pressure felt welded in that one spot, regardless of what the engineer was doing because of that. When the throttle shut, the draft would die back really quickly because most of its path outside was cut off, and as soon as the engineer would open the throttle, it'd open up the damper and the fire would be off to the races. It was spectacular. Genuinely one of the easiest firing engines I've ever seen. Running it got quite interesting, however. It was weird to have such a small steam chest volume, superheat, and still have a steam dome throttle. The throttle was easy enough to move, but it would charge the chest and then want to go off to the races quite easily, so handling things smoothly was a bit of a challenge, a nuance of a locomotive like the Shay. It was almost like there was a binary spot on the throttle where you got steam, and it was always more than you wanted. I'm sure with more time I would have figured it out well enough, but it was weird in the moment. The Johnson bar was the singular easiest to move I've ever experienced, which, given the Shay's geometry, makes sense. What was challenging, though, was seeing. I got invited up into the seat, and just about the singular worst torrential downpour of sideways rain I'd ever seen began. Chris, being my pilot, was leaning up against the cab door, holding it shut as the winds increased. It was absurd. Easily the worst weather I've ever operated a locomotive in. Apparently Mother Nature did not approve of me running a Shay. Definitely a moment for the history books on my end. It was still an absolute ton of fun and something I'll never forget. I don't really have any footage of me running because I was focused on running and not using my electronic devices, and because the weather was so bad, only channel member Grateful Lead was stupid enough to stand out amidst the rain and film. He did make for a hilarious sight as we were backing up towards the station on the main. Me looking out with my sunglasses on as some vague attempt to keep the water out of my eyes, and all I could see amidst the literal sea in the air was Grateful Lead in his high-vis construction shirt.
Everybody else is hiding inside like a bunch of bitches. My shoes feel like I'm swimming. And here we see the basic bitch.
I had to audibly laugh at that. Again, one for the books and quite a lot of fun, even if straight track is terrifying. Straight track does have its benefits, however. The speed limit of 40 mile an hour is pretty cool, of course, but the way they operate things makes it next level. There was a moment that I wish I got on film of the BN E-Unit pair doing a true commuter start at a signal. They got the high green and straight to 8 don't be late happened at a museum. Continuing on with the two cool factor is the Nebraska Zephyr, with its matching CB&Q E5, the Silver Pilot. That whole train set is absurdly pretty and a fantastic thing to see in operation in this day and age. Hopefully down the road we'll discuss streamliners in general in their own. For as many rad trains, displays, and operations as the IRM has, what they have more of are wonderful people. Everyone was extremely welcoming, kind, and professional at the museum, which is impressive, especially when you consider how many people it takes to keep this place running to this level. On a personal note, I was surprised by how many of their volunteers came up and said that my silly little videos here on YouTube were what got them to start volunteering. That was really touching, and it was great to see everyone out there doing the thing, whether it was track, signals, running interurbans, diesel, or steam. The IRM is just a truly spectacular railroad museum, and one on a grand scale. I loved my visit, and I need to go again to see the rest of everything that I missed. You really need several days to see and appreciate it all. Anyways, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.